But look around. It's a party, goddammit. Dance, my dudes. Dance. Your contemporaries are all invited. Your whole lineage RSVP'd. Welcome to the Cuckstar Bonanza.
You weren't satisfying enough with that.
You little cock!
Beta male?
I guess I'm a fucking cock. Manosphere trope. Genetic or something? MGTOW. A world that refuses to accept men.
I spend a lot of time on TikTok.
Humiliated, but I ate. You're a very dominant person.
I'm a very dominant.
Be the most alpha of the beta male.
I show you what a real cock looks like.
Like my little bitch here.
Christianity, a couple. People in power. Women are upset.
Nice all street. Conservative. That's
How does that make you feel?
Inadequate sexually.
Hard times create strong men. Strong men create good times. Good times create weak men. And weak men create hard times. A quotation by G. Michael Hopf, popularized by the manosphere.
It's entirely possible. This is that cycle that everybody says.
Hard times make strong men. Strong men make easy times. Easy times make weak men.
A quotation from his novel, Those Who Remain. On its face, this quote convincingly explains away the tides of history. It's almost a platitude at this point. You might even find yourself paraphrasing it in conversation about modernity or something. But it's odd the origin is from a relatively unpopular post-apocalyptic tale and not some pop scientific New York Times bestseller authored by insert micro-celebrity academic here. Surely it can't be that simple. A couple minutes of contemplation reveals the quote to be more impotent than explanatory. Just how do strong men reliably create favorable periods of time? Do they wholly control the environment and circumstances ushering in economic prosperity or cessation of violent conflict? If the progression of the socio-econoculture worked in tangential squares that cycled verifiably, and we can identify this revolution at its specific intervals and even categorize the degrees of angular momentum with the fitness and psychic status of men, then we'd be living in a 32-bit simulation programmed on a
Windows 98 computer.
Its architect designed by a crackhead inspired by the Hellenic degenerate Aristotle that thought up all of this anacyclosis shit. The retrospective good times are imagined great by the late lame and the ignorant and granulated into categories irrespective of each other because times were good for some, but not all, and the strong were always conniving ways to make the hard times even harder. Now, why hammer down this singular quote? Who gives a shit, really? Well, if we accept that there's a rise in cuckery, this rationale is used to explain it away as men today are weak and require adversity. That'll fix everything. And this is patent pending retardation. Cuckstars elevate themselves within this rationale conversationally to their masculine peers, to the void of internet comment sections, and to the disinterested Starbucks barista who was denied his advances for the 7th time this month.
Just leave her alone, Dirk.
All this talk about flaccid men and the rigidity of recurring eras. What about the Starbucks barista? How about females, then? Do women not advance the times? Are they the quote-unquote weak men in this retarded formula of human civilization? After all, it's a droning heterodox, trite idea that men possess the volition of society's creation while women just birth and rear the men therein. And yeah, it's technically correct, at least in most of recorded history, yet potentially inaccurate when assessing net well-being of this newfound liberalization of the sexes in the here and now and what's possible in the future. Understanding implicitly that women provide more for society than birthing men, nurturing people, and driving phallic desires, that gets you halfway there. Women ought to establish their personhood as men do, not for their sake, but for what's required of our future, the demands of our species' survival. And if they don't do so now, they'll be compelled to affront the charge alongside men, without the experience and development of their compatriots. Surely men can't shoulder the entire responsibility themselves. Didn't these women get the memo? Bitch, didn't you know you can't forego the trade-offs of these positive freedoms to continue on reaping the rewards of an older kind of servility? There's levels to this equality shit. What, you want to have your cake and eat it too? Well, get your piping bag out, honey. We got some baking to do. Men, as of late, are more inclined to offset resentments to women, especially now that they're in competition with them and not for them. Assumedly, females still have the privileges of womanhood, of motherhood, of femininity, of beauty, capitalizing on them without remorse, insisting on blindness to their advances and hypocrisies. The burden of motherhood warrants them that, naturally, even if they don't want to or can't be mothers. Men, by and large, are easily antagonistic to women for these reasons. Additionally, Additionally, it's infuriating to cuckstars, sexually unselected, be that they understand the rules, aren't playing to win, and will accuse women of cheating the game. I mean, what would the cuckstar win by playing? What's the prize? Love. If men are to be loved, they're expected to man up, to pay up, to be men with all the consequences, cucked in struggle for female selection, starving themselves to satiate spousal appetites, or fishing acceptance out from appeasing women's desires, to drive toward an exceptional life to their own detriment, in competition with others, or at the behest of an ideal they might not hold, or in service to a legacy they'll never see, and to continue on while being instructed that what they do is not required of them anymore, that they're toxic or oppressive for doing what's expected. Men will do all of this at the chance to be loved, even if the contradictions drive them insane, even if it means working themselves to death, even if it means a life of utter failure and absurd solitude, even if it's all for naught and they're still unloved, alone by their 50th birthday. For man, it appears love is mainly conditional. The majority of women are loved unconditionally. Women need not reciprocate the struggles traditionally appointed to men, and why should they? There's no love to earn, necessarily. They're fine as they are. And though this may sound like a privilege, there's a select few trade-offs that even the scales. This is not to say that women are immune to the struggles of men. It's affirming the common strife endured to be a man ontologically, or rather, men oft gravitate and intertwine themselves with the commonality because it verifies them, or simply put, it allows them to feel like a man. Weeds aside, humans require love in their lives. Between the sexes, the aspects of attaining this love are unbalanced. Notice that men who are loved are rarely cucks or cuckstars, right? It's nearly self-evident. Can you imagine a loved cuck? Have you ever met a romantically fulfilled cuckstar? Love is the best incentive, the only party favor a man needs in the Bonanza. As a species, we've won the lottery. We've evolved past the point of bipedal return, cultivating nearly 90% of the world's biomass to cater to our protein needs, dominating the problem space of ecological bents by amassing material mounds of substance in crop and city, consuming beyond the survival substrate of the other fauna that we live amongst. The wealth of nations became the consumption by citizens. Peasant became consumer. Slave became worker. We hit the jackpot, and it's unfortunate. We're unluckier than before we won the lottery, arguably. What happens with most lottery winners? They spend and spend. Endless receipts, evidence of an impossibility of bankruptcy. They become mad and lend out, inviting all kinds of drama and severity into their lives. They consume unto excess, thinking themselves godly as gout forms. They intoxicate heavily, so narcotically high their dicks can't get hard. They make euphoria and dysphoria indispensable. They turn luxury into trash heaps. They turn delicacy into waste to be treated. They deteriorate and age, neither really rich or at all penniless, because in the end, lotteries aren't won by the dead. Times are forever hard. Man is always weak. There is no cycle, no differentiation, because history doesn't discriminate along the circumference of a circle. Our prejudices are as ahistorical as our record is verifiable. This quote is retarded. Certified Cuckstar. Autonomy and its consequences have been a disaster to the male libido.
The windows themselves are like hypergraphical constructed by buildings beyond our comprehension.
You can blame woke profilicity, culture wars, and their whining fasci provokers, the authority of suppressive bean counters and buzzkills, the virtual scape's dehumanizing candor, or the social atomization within the post-left, whatever right, neoliberal funhouse we live in. You can blame consumerist ease and its market for lowered fertility rates and decimated testosterone levels wrought by EDCs like phthalates. You can blame industry and capital and its corporate economizing. You can blame your biology, your upbringing, your geography, your leadership. You can blame all women. You can blame some of them. You can blame yourself too. All the blame in the world. Blame, disdain, complain all you want. You're still cucked. Being inspired by motivational videos or watching shit on YouTube isn't gonna change that. Why Atar? You sound so disappointed, so bitter, so heteronormative, so toxically masculine. You're criticizing men affected by the side effects of consumerist dystopia without acknowledging the peaceable, progressive strides of their better angels. It's not me, it's them. Witness the content of the MGTOW manosphere. Endless users or losers guides on how to avoid the cuck while churned out content cashes out the buck. Confident and wide-eyed content creators want you to believe that through negligence, cowardice, stupidity, and complacency, or really insert political pejorative here, women in their girl boss, harlot ways are killing manhood. State-enforced feminization is drugging and murdering our young boys, and you have to mete out these tragedies in oddly Praetorian ways. By signing up to Man Bun Academy, a Manbur's only monthly subscription, you too can put these harpies in their place and level up your phallic energy cores. The corollaries are always existential, as if the collective unconscious screened children of men in a cosmic focus test group, and the participant metaneuronal maps all agreed that it'd be a fantastic series finale to Homo Sapiens, the shortest running primetime show in Earth's history. But that's all bullshit. The rhetoric is placating single men, predating on their insecurities, encouraging the embodiment of caricatures, and men and women are discouraged back into a haven of cuckery regardless. The specific suffering of the modern single man is just that, specific. Generalizing circumstances and edge cases to rationalize why the bachelor life perpetuated is better than the potential unhappiness is the best way to cuck yourself even harder. Why conform to the mean of trends? Why embellish your value and obsess over personal development if you're still unloved? Why would you continue implicating that when you were born, God said fuck that nigga, cursed you with genetical faults and a complete lack of self-awareness, and that's why women won't give up the pussy? Are you gonna let dank memes, bot accounts, and promiscuous women embitter you and color your ambitions? You're gonna let random people on the internet confirm insecurities and biases you manufactured while alone with your jaded self in your coomer brain. What no pussy does to a motherfucker. Sure, the lives of good men have been ruined by wayward, callous women repeatedly. Men's issues are abundant. Court systems have made marriage, love, and family making hazardous. Treading cautiously around women like some battered fuckless cynic to avoid the problems assumedly caused by inviting them into your life, furthering your lonely spiral into isolation, is abjectly cuckish. Okay, I get that the one that got away doesn't come close to your pectoral gains, account balance increases, freedom from naggery, and the validating praises from other men, but even still, these perks aren't exclusive to going your own way. The cost of your Cuckstar rebellion is dejection, and whether you like it or not, the Bonanza is bumping and you're still alone with your dick in your hand. Blaise Pascal said it best. All of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone. And if that room is filled with luxurious shit and vacant of love because you went your own way, humanity's problems end up becoming your fucking problem. Today, the youth strife is manageable. The system ran out of obvious oppression, and the rage has been raged against instead. The novelty is minuscule, the excess pitiful. The people are lame, the grapevine insane. The scene saturated, the memes opioids. The dreams cheapened with a pursuit off course, happiness undead. The world is dying while humanity is thriving. The nations were inhospitable, the wars unwinnable, the asset allocation untenable. The dollar was debased and fed-pilled. The only way to cope is to be based or to be red-pilled, to cuck or be cucked. You may be asking, why did I subject you to this video? To be honest, I randomly typed Cuckstar Bonanza and saw that there wasn't a single upload with that title, and I figured I'd fix that travesty. But why? An effort to explain away the deeper dissonance symptomatic of a team rivalry between the sexes and their atomized players. To wean your aggravating addiction to red and black pills, prescribed by every boring anon with a depressive clutch, by every manipulative chode with a sizable following. There are no red pills, black pills, green pills, clear pills. I have none to give. I'd rather prescribe a better gelatin to men, a diet plan, more or less. Stop eating the hors d'oeuvres. Don't feel compelled to dance or celebrate. Nobody's watching. You're not special. You're not a celebrity, a star. Play acting otherwise doesn't fill your red cup when the keg's empty and the pretty women and good men have left the venue. No one's here to love you. The loudspeakers are lying. There's no shred of reality to be found in the DJ booth, the bar, the dance floor, the vomit-stained bathrooms. Avoid the cokeheads and weirdos at the seams. They're only there to insult your intelligence and give out discount codes to courses like how to get laid and stay paid in the Bonanza, how to be the fittest player the Bonanza's ever seen, or how to escape the Bonanza's after party of dating, marriage, kids, infidelity, divorce, pain, ruin, and then probable suicide. You don't have to be here. You don't have to be in attendance. Just leave like everyone else. Turn off your phone, go home, and go to sleep. You got work in the morning, and the sun doesn't give a damn about your hangover.